Good morning, students. Once again, I am starting the lesson, the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. We have already started this lesson. I have given you a brief summary of this lesson. Today, I am going to give the explanation of this lesson. Let's start. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill and unpleasant sound. Now, there is a word banned. Banned. What does it mean? It means prohibited. Now another word, shrill. Shrill means very sharp. Another word, unpleasant. Unpleasant, what does it mean? It means something that you dislike. Now pungi was a musical instrument, the predecessor of the Shehnai. When the Mughals ruled India before the Britishers came, there was a very famous Mughal ruler named Aurangzeb. He did not allow the pungi to be played in his royal residence because he felt that it had a shrill and unpleasant sound. Now look in this picture. This is pungi. Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb did not like the sound produced by pungi. He found it very shrill and unpleasant sound. So he banned the playing of pungi during his time. Now let's move ahead. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemaker. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Now generic name. It's like this word generic name. What does it mean? It means that a name given to a class or a group of as a whole. Generic name means the scientific name or a broad classification of something. Reeded. Here is a word, reeded. What does it mean? It means that wind instruments which have reeds like the flutes, which have holes. So just like flutes, that is called as reeded instrument. Now revived. Another word, revived. What does it mean? It means brought back to life. So any musical instrument which is made with reeds like we have flutes, they all are classified as pungi. So pungi is a broad term for any type of instrument which uses wind to produce sound. As Aurangzeb has banned all these reeded noisemakers instrument, he had banned pungi in his royal residence. So no one thought that one day such a noisemaker, such instrument which made unpleasant sound would be played and their sound would be liked by the audience. Now let's move ahead. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palaces decide to improve the tonal quality of pungi. Now what do you mean by the word tonal quality? Here's a word, tonal quality. What does it mean? It means the sound. As the pungi had an unpleasant sound, there was a barber who belonged to a family of professional musicians, and he wanted to play the pungi, but he knew that the sound produced by pungi was unpleasant, and so he decided to improve the sound. Why? Because he was from a musician family, so he was able to produce the required kind of changes so that it would produce a beautiful sound. So he decided to improve the sound. Let's move ahead. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. Now hollow. Here's a word, hollow. What do you mean? It means empty from inside. Now what did the barber do? That barber, he took a pipe which has a hollow stem. It was longer and broader than pungi. He made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. If you have seen a flute, it is something like this. You can see in this picture. Flute. If you have seen a flute, it is something like this, just like in this picture. It is a pipe which is hollow from inside and has holes on it. Now let's move ahead. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. Then, after making that Shehnai, that new musical instrument, then he blew air into the pipe and closed and opened different holes. You can see in this picture, there are holes. You can see there are holes on this pipe. So what the barber did, he blew air into the pipe and closed and opened different holes. He found that the soft and melodious sounds were produced when he did like this. When he opened and closed the holes, he found that soft and melodious sounds were produced. And then after, he was very happy. Now let's move ahead. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. Now when the barber played this instrument in the royal court, everyone liked the sound produced by it. Everyone was very happy. The instrument, let's move ahead. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. Now this new instrument, which is different from pungi, they want to give a new name. The royal court thought that this instrument was different from the pungi, and so it should have a different name also. Now let's move ahead. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah chamber and was played by a nai, that is barber, the instrument named the Shehnai. Now, there is a story behind the name given to this instrument. This instrument was played for the first time in the royal residence of the Shah. Shah was a name given to king. Mughals. He was a Mughal king. As the nai, that is the Indian term used for a barber, had played it for the first time, they called it Shehnai. They had given the name Shehnai to this new instrument. So, the first part is Shah, which stands for the Shah, and the second part is Nai for the barber. So, the instrument got a new name, and the new name was Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai, now let's move ahead in the second paragraph. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Now what do you mean by the word auspicious? Auspicious means promising to bring good fortune. Something, it gives an information that something good is going to happen. That is called as auspicious. Now the sound which was produced by Shehnai was considered to be very good, and so it was played on good occasions. Let's move ahead. For this reason, it is still played in temples and in an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. Now there is a word, indispensable. What do you mean by this word? It means without which a piece of work cannot be done, something which is necessary. So you can hear Shehnai being played at many temples and wedding also. In the past, the Shehnai was a part of the Naubat, or the traditional things like 9 instruments found at the royal court. Now as ensembles, what does it mean? Considered as a group. Now the Shehnai was a part of Naubat. Naubat is an Urdu word and it means traditional assembles, that you can say means a traditional group of 9 musical instruments. These 9 musical instruments were played at royal court, and Shehnai was also a part of Nawab. Let's move ahead. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument into the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. The Shehnai was played at the king's court, in temple and at wedding. It was used on stage in performance, and the credit for that goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, who was a legendary Shehnai player, and people wanted to hear him play the Shehnai. Let's move ahead. Paragraph 3rd. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar. Now explanation of these lines. When Bismillah Khan was 5 years old, he lived in an old state named Dumrao. The name of his village, you can say, was Dumrao. In present day it was in Bihar. In present day, where is that location? It is in Bihar. He used to play gilli danda and old sports quite similar to cricket, you can say. He would regularly go to nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize which given by the local Maharaj. Now laddu, what do you mean by laddu? Laddu is an sweet. We all have seen this sweet laddu. Also here, now explanation of these lines. Also he would go to the nearby Bihariji temple. Although Bismillah Khan was a Muslim, he would go to the temple and he would sing this song that is called as Chaita in Bhojpuri language. When he would finish reciting the song, he would get a big laddu as a reward, and the weight of that laddu was 1.25 kg. This was a prize given to Bismillah Khan by local Maharaj for singing that song, that Bhojpuri song.